How long's your show? 2 hours?
Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J. Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. Enjoy the show. And we are live. Good, happy Tuesday afternoon. Happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope that, what was it? Was it Jefferson Airplane that said something about hope you have somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? So anyway, this is always a fun day. People are so divided on this day. The haves and have-nots. The Valentine's Day versus Single Awareness Day. And here we are. So happy Valentine's Day to you, Mr. McMurray.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I see you're wearing your red. I went more with earth tones today. I went with this like taupey tan and a little green.
Just spreading the love.
That's it. Yep. I figure I may go hug a tree today. You know, that's not true. I love my wife, and she doesn't never watch these because she says I like to talk too much, which she ain't wrong.
That's okay.
But anyway, so what I love, one of the things I love the most about her is that she has said, do not ever get me something for Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. It is a fill in the blank holiday, and we're just not going to do that. And I said,
"Hey,
yes,
she's
ma'am."
a real one."
Have you done it? Gotten something for Valentine's Day? Okay.
No, I know better.
So say, I didn't know if it was a trick question or not.
It is not a trick question. She doesn't play like that. So anyway, we're here. It is February the 14th of 2023. And we got all kinds of cool stuff to talk to. I've got Romel McMurray here, a relatively newly elected county commissioner, District 19, kind of that west side of Rutherford County, mostly Murfreesboro, a little bit of the county, and then you said just a little chunk of Smyrna, right?
Just a little tad bit,
yeah. Little pinch there. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk a little bit about what he does that actually, puts food on the table. We'll talk about that a little bit and some other things. Before we do that, though, we do want to hear from Mr. Bryan Nale of Primis Mortgage. And Bryan is a huge supporter of all things Spread the Positive, and he does a lot for the community and does a lot for this organization. And so we're very thankful for him. So, Trent, let's hear from Bryan.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Bank Mortgage, and I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission, and it helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's a true pleasure to be part of. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, a second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
It is nearly impossible to listen to that little bit and not at least bob your head just a little, right?
I was trying to sit here.
You can't do it. It's not possible.
I played in band growing up, so yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm really good at playing the radio. And that's about it. This table actually has more rhythm than me as it sits here completely stationary. Let's put it this way: at church, clapping and singing, I'm off rhythm.
You're off rhythm.
I can't do it. Like I actually
just keep your hands to your side.
I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to. I have to focus on making this thing make some kind of joyful, like, it might be a joyful noise in my heart,
right?
But everybody else around me is like, "Oh Lord!"
Well, I mean, the Bible says, "Make a joyful noise."
Yeah, but it does say "in your heart," so I think it was talking to me and saying, "Keep your mouth shut because you can't sing." But anyways,
I like that.
We can have this conversation because Romel is the chaplain for the county commissioner or county commission, and they probably need it sometimes, huh?
Yeah. We they elected me to be the chaplain on our very first meeting back in August. So it's an honor to lead the prayer before every meeting. So we actually have a meeting this Thursday night, so I'll be leading the prayer for it. So I'm excited.
And what are your qualifications? Why did they elect you to be the chaplain?
There's really not a qualification.
You're the only one that
Pretty
volunteered?
much, pretty much. I mean, you have to have the positive attitude, spirit, and not make your prayers political. And that's what I do when I get up there. Pray for our counties, our city, state, and our country, and just whatever the Lord puts on my heart to say. It's what I do. So I don't put any politics in it because I personally don't think that's needed. So
Isn't that interesting though that is a qualification? Don't make your prayers political. I mean, it's kind of sad, honestly, when you have to actually say that out loud. But
yeah, but I enjoy it. So it used to be held by Mr. Commissioner Trey Gooch, and he knew that I was interested in it. And he's like, sure. He says, I've been following you, and people say all the time, good things will follow you. So
yeah,
I try to make sure it keeps me accountable too. So
yeah, that makes sense. So all right, well let's dive right in. I don't think I ever said anything. Jonathan Harmon, J. Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. Am I supposed to say that, Trent? I don't. I forgot.
That's all right. I mean,
I did throw it to Brian though.
Yeah, we
this
got
time.
Brian covered.
Yeah,
So I
and
guess that is
he
the most
pays the
important.
bills.
Yeah.
We love that guy. So anyway, I'm a little off today. I haven't had quite enough coffee.
that's okay.
So when you were growing up, did you ever have those group of buddies that you would hang out with, and y'all would stay up really late, and about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's still awake because they just didn't want to go to sleep, and we dubbed that stupid hour, right? Because no chemical inducements of any sort, but everything was funny.
Yeah.
Like everything
Yeah.
was funny. Oh, he tore his sock. Ah, that's
And
hilarious.
just laughing that early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm already in stupid hour and it's only 4:10, so that's not good.
It's a little early for that.
It is quite early for that. But anyway, we're going to get through this and we're going to learn a lot about you. So tell me about, did you grow up here? Where are you from?
Yeah. So I grew up, was born and raised in Lebanon, Tennessee, Wilson County, just right down the road. So I tell people.
Were you a Blue Devil?
I was.
Yeah.
Once
Okay.
a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. So I tell people all the time, growing up, there was only two cities that you would visit, Murfreesboro or like the Rivergate area. 'Cause
Right.
They had the malls.
Right.
Growing up. So I attended MTSU, and then I got into healthcare and things like that. So
The administration side of that, right?
I've lived here in Murfreesboro going on about 12 years now.
Okay.
So I knew once I moved over here, I was like, yep, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
'Cause, not to knock on my hometown, but we have so much more to offer over here than.
I mean, come on, man. Lebanon Square is built on a river. That's cool.
And it floods every time.
I
a big
know. It floods out of the streets. Crazy, isn't it?
So their square, it floods like once a year. It's sad, but
Yeah, I actually dig Lebanon. I think it's a pretty cool little town, but
it's up and growing.
Murfreesboro's good.
It used to be the rivalry between Lebanon and Mount Juliet, and so now that Mount Juliet has Providence, all that, I think a lot of people envy that.
They're a little uppity, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's okay. You can say that. This is a safe space, Romel.
It's a safe space. Okay.
Yeah. So you're here 12 years or so, MTSU grad. You're working in healthcare. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. You're a dad. We actually have a studio audience. My daughter is in the audience, and your son is sitting here in the audience. Raising your family here, living, working, playing, all those kinds of things here in Rutherford County.
Absolutely.
And somehow, did you lose a bet? What happened that just made you decide that you would run for a county office?
County office. Well, for me, I've all my life, pretty much like out of high school, I've always had the public servant heart. So I've served on the boards for Habitat for Humanity in Wilson County, and then I transferred it over here to Rutherford County.
Great group here in Rutherford County.
Yes. So I've been with them, I don't know, probably 10 years now.
Wow.
Used to be part of like the Rotary, did some stuff with Chamber United Way. So I've always been involved with community engagement. And so I've worked on some, campaigns over the years. And people have always said you should run for something. And for me, I would always tell them, I will run when I get the green light, when I feel comfortable running, because a lot of times people will run just because someone else wants them to, and either you're not ready or you just don't have that passion, and you can see it in a candidate when they run. And
Sure.
I'd never wanted to be that. And so this past, almost 2 years ago, I guess, they did some redrawing of the districts, and my district became available as an open seat. And so I prayed on it for several months, talked to some friends, and last February I turned in my paperwork to run. And, I said I was going to give not 100%, I was going to give 210%. And that's what I did from day one. I ended up winning by 63 votes. So it was a hard, long race, but I'm proud of the race I ran. Not one negative ad from myself or my opponent.
That's good.
There's just no reason for that.
Running on merit.
Right. And, I ran on my ideas, what I plan to do, and vice versa. He did as well. So, but no, to be a voice for others, because a lot of people are not as vocal as I am. And so I feel like I can represent my district the way it needs to be and should be. Because when I ran, a lot of people didn't know who their county commissioner was or didn't know what a county commissioner does. And so you did a lot of explaining along the way. And so you have to have tough skin, thick skin.
Probably do as much explaining of what you don't do in that position as what you do.
Yeah. It's I've enjoyed it so far. It's rewarding. You get to work with 20 other county commissioners. We have a total of 21 in the county. So
Trivia question for the end of the show, by the way.
Everyone, we try to work together. There's different committees and things like that. And so, but at the end of the day, I tell people, we're all Rutherford County. Doesn't matter what district you live in. We're trying to do what's best for every single individual that lives here, works here, plays here in Rutherford County.
Gotcha. So I met you the first time when you were on the campaign trail. It's probably, I guess, been just over a year ago. I don't remember which particular fundraiser event, whatever, maybe a chamber event. I don't know what it was. And instantly, I just kind of felt like, yeah, this guy, who is this guy? Because he kind of knows what he's talking about. He's pretty smart. He's, seems like a guy that would have the populace's interest at heart, right? I detected nothing from you that was, I'm running to, boost myself. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool. So you're a dad, you're a county commissioner, District 19. We'll talk about that a little bit more and some of the particular things. But you also, again, in that servant mindset, you, with your regular job, you work for a company that is a liaison between, as you were explaining it to me, and tell me if I'm wrong here, kind of between government programs and the healthcare system. And you come in and you say, okay, here's what you got, patient, right? You got this huge bill, self-pay, whatever.
Correct.
How do we find some relief, some help for you on the financial side of things now that we've gotten you stabilized on the health side of things?
Right. So in that aspect, there's two goals in mind for me each day. One is to see if I can get the patient some type of resource regarding healthcare. And secondly, see if we can get the hospital paid as well. Because we all know that if we can keep hospital costs down, things hopefully will level out. But yes, so my department, we oversee all self-pay patients. So for Vanderbilt University Medical Center. So, excuse me. So Vanderbilt has several, 5 or 6 other hospitals here in the mid-state. So I oversee the one in Lebanon, that main hospital. So anytime a patient comes in that is uninsured, we automatically reach out to that patient, my department. And so what we do, we screen the patient and try to exhaust all options to see, like you said, to see what's on the table, if this patient can qualify for this or qualify for that.
Meaning government programs, TennCare,
Right,
Medicaid,
disability.
Medicare, disability.
There's a plethora of programs out there. So at the end of the day, I tell patients to just be honest and upfront with us, because if you don't tell us the truth up front,
You're gonna find out.
then we're gonna find out anyways. Yeah. So and for me, it's rewarding because some people, they when they leave the hospital, they thank you for reaching out to them, for helping them, because at the end of the day, we never know what circumstance someone may be going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to tell people, don't judge someone just because they don't have some type of insurance, because we never know what someone's circumstance is.
Right.
And we see all types of patients. I mean, I even have to talk to mental health patients as well. Those can be a little bit different conversations, but at the end of the day, they still deserve the opportunity and the chance to be heard and screened for benefits as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting. I see kind of this pattern in your in your repertoire here between Habitat and what you do with Vanderbilt and serving the community as a county commissioner. You are a voice for people that are in need.
Yeah.
And you do it in places. Let me back up. So my experience with Habitat, and I love the organization, is there's kind of like two camps of people in the general population, right? There's one camp of people that sees Habitat as giving somebody a free house. And then there's somebody else over this other camp that actually understands what Habitat does,
Right.
and understands that it's
not
nowhere even close to
Right.
giving someone a free house.
Yeah.
That generally the people that receive those houses, they work harder towards home ownership than like basically anybody else,
Right.
Including myself, right?
Right.
And it's so anyway. So I think it's pretty cool that you are so involved in Dad first,
I know,
right?
it's-
Dad first. That's it. That's it. I get it.
Yeah. Well, for me,
You're so involved in helping people in those areas that a lot of folks maybe don't even understand.
Right. Well, and for me, when I ran, I told people, I said, whether I win or lose, it's not going to deter me from doing what I'm doing now, by helping individuals. And so that's who I am. That's what I plan to do. I don't have a self-interest in my county commission seat. So some people try to correlate that with it, but I'm like, what I do in healthcare does not have anything to do with county commission, except for just being a public servant. So that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's start with the fun stuff. You said make sure you ask me some tough questions. So here we go. What is the biggest challenge? Let's go with the local level. Okay, so and local can be, let's say, Middle Tennessee. What's the biggest challenge in the healthcare industry right now?
I would say mental health. It's big. Mental health and opioid. So here, I know in Rutherford County we have a opioid problem. So that's why the county commission we have an opioid task force or committee that's strictly working on that. We're going to getting grants to help those with addictions and things like that. So between those two, that and mental health, which again, they go hand in hand, in my opinion. They correlate.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah. So and not just Rutherford County, but like you said, Middle Tennessee. If you watch the news every day, there's always some type of there's either overdose or someone has passed away. I see it probably on a weekly basis. Someone's come in overdosed.
Yeah.
And so again, try to get them help some way, because again, you never know what their circumstance is. And for me, I'm passionate in pushing getting help for those with the opioid and addiction, because I had a sister who passed away in 2019 of a opioid overdose.
Wow.
And a cousin as well. So those are the type of things that you never know what someone's story is. So that's why I'm passionate to try to help as many people and educate them about it.
And again, that's another area. Both of those, mental health and drug addiction, are areas that the majority of people on the outside of that look at that and go, "Oh, come on, help yourself. Just don't be addicted to drugs,"
Right.
as if it's
right.
That's
until
simple,
until it hits somebody
Right.
in your family. Because I tell people, everybody has somebody in their family that has some type of addiction. whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs. There's all types of addictions, and so that's why we're here on this earth to help one another and not criticize one another.
And it's so hard, and it's so hard to fight the people that criticize and judge and still love them.
Right.
It's a balance, man.
Yeah, it is, and it is hard to see your loved ones, going through those hard life situations. But you still have to love them and do as much as you can. But at the end of the day, they have to be willing to you can lead them to the water, but
Right.
they have to be able to drink it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I would assume that is a tough challenge for the healthcare industry because it is such a kind of stigmatized and misunderstood and mischaracterized
In healthcare,
situation.
it's just a huge umbrella. In healthcare, I mean, you have insurance, you have hospitals, you have the lobbyists and stuff that on behalf of other companies and individuals. So it's always a task. I mean, you got pharmacists and all that good stuff. So it's fun.
Well, and so many of the opioid addictions started from something innocent. You legitimately got injured or what have you, and here you are. 3 years later.
Yeah, it's moving rapid. I mean, just not here in the mid-state or Tennessee, but all across the country. And I try to just tell people, don't take something that you don't know if it's not prescribed by a doctor. Because you just never know, and it's scary because just a small little ounce of fentanyl that gets on in your system, it can be lethal, deadly. Now they use it for operating rooms or whatever, but they know how to
Controlled environment.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift gears then. You've been in office now since what did you say, August?
August.
Yep. So you've had a little bit of time to get your feet in the water, to kind of feel it around. Tell me what you're the most surprised about now that you've been in there.
The most I'm surprised about. That's a good question. I mean, I would say communication between the county and the city, to be honest. In regards,
Good surprise, bad surprise.
A little bit of both. For example, the landfill.
It's on my list.
I'm just glad that's not in my district because I don't really.
Literally not in your backyard, right?
Right. And I think the communication can be better. And I'm not bashing anybody. Like I said, we all work and live here. Murfreesboro is in the county. The counties has city of Murfreesboro. So, and just between the elected officials. But I think the communication is coming around. We're doing as much as we can to communicate. Not just the county and the city, but even my own county commissioners. We all try to communicate as best as we can, and use the facts and the information that we have to make the best decisions for our constituents, or I say neighbors, because I call everybody in my district my neighbors. So,
Sure, yeah. So what, at this point, you probably have an opinion. What is the solution to the landfill?
It's a tough
from
one.
from your perspective.
From my perspective. I know different ideas have been proposed. For example, like a transfer station, or some wants to close it altogether. Some wants to expand it. I've heard it'll close down within 2 to 3 years. I've heard it'll close down in 5 to 7 years.
I've heard 10 to 15.
10.
Yeah.
And so and again, it comes down to the communication. And so I'm not here advocating for anybody, but I have talked to the different department heads of the landfills and things like that. So, not sure which way it's going to go, but at the end of the day, me preferably, I don't like the idea of other counties or cities bringing their trash here. And so maybe if we stop doing that and just focused on Rutherford County, a lot of people would be happier with it.
It would at least extend the life, right?
Yeah, and the smell. For me, every time I've driven out there over the past year or two, I haven't smelt anything. So that's that.
We have ourselves a guest here. How's it going, buddy? Good. All right. Okay. So probably the number one service that the residents of Rutherford County use at the county level is the school system, right? What are some challenges specifically that are facing the school system? And I know you're on the Health and Education Committee as well.
Right.
Public safety and ethics, it all kind of ties back into there. What are some of the things, the biggest challenges that are facing our schools?
So in regards to our schools, we allocate, or they take up about 77% of our yearly budget.
Wow.
So that's over $400 million a year. So I will say with them, the biggest concern or issue is the growth. When we're having 2,000 students coming in every year, that's the biggest issue.
2,000 a year, growing the number.
Yes. So I think right now
That's the size of our high schools.
Yeah, we're at a little bit over 50,000 students for the entire county. And so, as you mentioned, I do serve on the Health and Education Committee. So when I was elected, I made I had a goal is to visit every. We have 50 schools. Is to visit every school within the next 2 years. And so I'm proud to say, like I've already visited about 15 to 17 different schools this past fall. So I'm about to ramp that up again, because for me, I want to see and hear what's coming from our administrators, our teachers, and to see how we can better give them resources moving forward. Now, we can't always build a new school here and there, or we can't always expand, but we can do other things to beautify the schools and things like that, because there are, I'm going to be transparent, there are some haves and have-nots with some schools here in the county. And I don't think that's fair to our students. I think if a student comes from one school to another school in regards to like playing sports or whatnot, I think they should all be on the same level playing field, whether it's our arts, academics, and athletics, the three A's. And so the growth is like I said, is a big thing.
But how do you do that? I mean, so and I get it. I mean, you want whatever Smyrna High School has to be equivalent to what Oakland High School has to Rockville to whatever, right? But if Smyrna goes out and kind of on their own secures a big sponsor for their football team, how do you have parity with all the other high schools in the county? And should you, if they worked hard to do that, shouldn't they reap the benefit of that?
Yeah. So for me, for example, like Oakland, they 3-time state champions or whatever. Yeah, they're going to probably be your biggest.
They're going to get more attention.
They're going to get more attention.
Sure.
They're going to be able to raise more money over their PTO, the parents or whatever, compared just again to a Laverne. Now I walked into that school, and it's just a difference of an environment. I'll go back to my previous statement when I said we can beautify the buildings. Whether we repaint the walls all white or put in some LED lights, and then put some positive affirmations on the walls and things like that for our students. And I tell people and parents all the time, take the time to go and visit your child's school, because you don't know what's going on until you actually go in and take a look. Like the swim meet area at Laverne. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't, if I was a student there and then I turn around and go to a different school, like at Oakland to swim, probably my morale would be low, because I would feel like, do they care about our school or whatnot? So, and it's not, like I said, it's not always about just building things. It's just the little things. And so I'm looking into the idea is to maybe having some of the corporate engagement or partners come in to the schools around those areas to try to give back. And so if we can get corporations, in my opinion, or businesses around these schools to
Some partnerships.
partnership, then I think we could see some, some positive things. That way, we can keep the county taxes low. We don't have, the school board can kind of worry about some other things, because right now they're looking to build some new schools, elementary school and middle school. So.
So I got to ask this: is Rutherford County ever not looking at building new schools? I mean, at this point, you pretty much always have to have at least one or two on the table, right?
If you talk to many people, they'll say, even some school board members will say, we're 2 to 5 years behind on a lot of stuff that should have been done then. We can sit and blame COVID and all that stuff, but for instance, Riverdale and Oakland, I think, should have had their additions already to their school, and why that hasn't happened yet, I don't know. But yeah, it's always every year the subject comes up, or the conversation, we need new schools or whatnot. So, and the land is getting, scarce each year. So, they're trying to do the best that they can.
Well, and part of that is it's not enough to acquire land, right? You have to acquire land in the areas
that's needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're doing. They have a list of areas that are needed, and the county still owns land in some of these areas, so they're trying to figure out what's best for the areas and things like that. So, and I tell you, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not about what one part of the Rutherford County needs; it's what we all need. So whether or not the school will be in my district, I'll support whatever's needed.
Right.
As long as we don't have to, put a burden on taxpayers going down the road.
Gotcha. So, what would you say at this point is the one single biggest challenge for the county?
I know it's probably cliche, but probably like the growth in the infrastructure. I'm sure because the real estate, but it's especially I represent one of the fastest growing areas in the county, and so we have to have the infrastructure to do a lot of things. And people always say, well, can they stop putting up apartments or do this and do that? In my opinion, I kind of see it as a good thing. People love moving here to Rutherford County. Excuse me. So let's try to manage that growth in a manageable way. And let's offer them, bring in more solutions. Let's bring in some more corporate jobs. Let's build some more affordable housing. So there's a list of things, but I would say infrastructure and growth is probably trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And especially the transportation or traffic going from Murfreesboro to Nashville. That I-24 corridor is just horrendous.
It's terrible.
And my opinion, I think we should have been talking about this 15 years ago, some type of monorail or something between Murfreesboro and Nashville, because it can be done. You just got to push a lot of these lawmakers to get stuff done,
So when we talk about infrastructure at the county level, obviously 77% of the budget is schools, so that's a big part of that infrastructure. What are some of the other things that the county takes care of? Obviously, municipalities cover certain things, but if you get outside of the city limits, that's all county stuff. So help us understand, what are some of the other infrastructure items that the county would cover growth-wise,
right,
besides schools?
So of course, you got your county roads and things like that. But the commission, we're in the process now of building 6 new public safety buildings across the county. So I think the first 2 is going to be Rockville and I should have remembered this. I think it's Kittrell. So those 2, and then next year will be 2 more, and then the following year 2 more after that. So 1 will be in my district. So that is going to be helpful when it comes time to for public safety. That way we can house the EMTs and the sheriff's the deputies as well. So it just won't be just specifically what's the right word I'm trying to find? Our public safety officials, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
and these in a lot of ways are are these replacing, supplementing volunteer fire departments? Is that
Good question. Yeah, so that was a couple weeks ago. There was a heated conversation going forward. So what we are trying to do, from my understanding, they're not trying to get rid of the volunteer firefighters. They're just wanting to try to go to a professional firefighting service. So this is my analogy and the analogy of the fire chief. When you call 911, do you want a professional? And I'm not knocking any volunteer firefighters, but do you want a professional firefighting service personnel to answer your phone call, or do you want to have the volunteer firefighters? You got to reach out to them. They got to go and get their equipment or their trucks or whatnot. So that's what we're trying to transition to. And I think, as far to my knowledge, the fire chief says that we would try to bring on any volunteer firefighter that wants to become part of our firefighting service. So that's something we're trying to do. And not only that, we're trying to take care of our deputies as well. For me, especially my SRO officers in the schools, I want to make sure we have an officer in every single school here in the county. And so, if there's anybody out there, I think we have like 5 or 6 openings. So, hey, we need more SRO officers. Because
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, safety and security is my top priority for the county.
good stuff? Well, man, so we've got to meet your son a couple times on camera here. So we're gonna wrap it up like this. So I always sign my emails and I put my titles underneath my name, and my first title that I put always is husband. My second title is dad. So I'm those first. So
Right.
From the McMurry family, what is your best piece of parenting advice?
Best piece of parenting advice.
Mm-hmm.
Just always, this is, I don't know, it's probably basic. Just be there for your child.
What does
Always
that
be-
mean to you?
To me, we all as a sacrifice for me. I have goals, personal goals, but at the end of the day, I know my son, is my priority, because I want to see him succeed. It's just plain and simple. I know it sounds basic, but just be there for your child.
Sometimes it's the simplest things that
Yeah.
we still don't do sometimes. You know?
Yeah, just like he played t-ball last season, and so I asked him this year, do you want to play t-ball or soccer? And he wants to switch it and play soccer. So I'm not going to be that type of parent like, no, you're going to play this, whatever you want to play, whether it's sports or not, or arts and academics. I'm going to let him do it as long as you're not in trouble and you're doing something. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's good stuff. All right, buddy. Well, we're going to wrap up. What do you want to leave us with?
I just want to let everybody know, hey, as your county commissioner and the other 20 county commissioners, we're doing everything we can for our county. Just hang in there with us in regards to, like I said, public safety, healthcare, education, where this is the place to be. There's a reason why people are flocking here to Rutherford County.
For sure.
And so just, patience. If you have concerns or whatever, hey, feel free to reach out to us. I give people my cell phone, my email address all the time, because as an elected official, I should be accessible at all times. I will not hide behind a desk or whatnot. So my constituents, yep.
All right, I'm gonna ask you to dish some dirt. Okay.
Okay.
You ready? Who's the funniest county commissioner?
Who's the fun?
Who has the best sense of humor? If we're doing superlatives.
Okay, that's a tie. I would have to say Trey Gooch, who sits beside me, and then I would say Phil Wilson.
Phil's in it. I'm in Rotary Club with Phil.
Yeah. Phil is kind of like my brother. Since day one we've hit it off. So
All right, and who's the smartest commissioner?
I'm not going to answer that one. It's just, we all have smart ideas. Put it that way.
There we go. I love it. See, I was throwing it out there to see if I could get you.
Yeah. See, I told you in 2 days I got to go see them all. And then
I love it. Romel McMurry, everybody, District 19 County Commissioner here in Rutherford County. And I am certain that if you had an issue, whether you're in his district or not, if you reached out to him, he would help you find the answer or find the person that would get the answer at least.
That's right.
And sometimes it's better to be the source of the source rather than the source.
Right.
You know?
I've done that a few times. You know, I tell people if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer. And if you're not in my district, I'll get you connected to your county commissioner or whatnot. Because, again, we're all Rutherford County. I feel like that's a slogan for me. So
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
You need to get it on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Well, buddy, don't get burned out. It's a tough grind over there.
Oh, yeah.
I know it is, and I've had lots of friends that have been county level, city level, you know, various things, and we need folks that actually give a crap about our populace. So.
Oh, and shout out to the city council of Murfreesboro. I know every single one of them, and they're all good people. So, and again, they're doing what's best for the city as well. So,
agreed.
Yeah. So,
very good.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you guys. If you have any questions for Romel, do put it in the comments, and I'll make sure that he gets those. If you need something mortgage related, reach out to my friend Bryan Nale over at Primis Mortgage. And of course, if you want some help in this real estate market, I will tell you, Trent, I don't know if you know this, but it has picked up, man.
Yeah.
It's starting to get a little bit busier. You know, that window that we talk about, it's still open, but I'll tell you, man, it's people are waking up. Interest rates are leveling out a little bit, and it's a very interesting time right now. So, you know, I know over in your neck of the woods, man, houses are, if it's priced right, it's going immediate.
Yeah.
We had a little spell there for a moment where things kind of sat and everybody kind of went, what's going on here? And those of us that knew and had faith were sitting here going, just relax.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine. But right now is a good opportunity. So,
well, this year I'm going to do some dabbling. So.
I like it. It's good stuff. But if you have any need for that, give me a shout. If you just want to have a conversation about it or just ask some questions, advice is always free, and sometimes it's worth what you pay for. So that's about it. Trent, you got anything?
No, sir.
Hey, I heard
good episode.
I heard Borough Prom was awesome. Did you go?
I was being a good better half and supporting Coach KJ and Montgomery this weekend.
Outstanding.
Hated to miss it, but
yeah,
I was wheeling the wheelchair and she was preventative stuff with a herniated disc and whatnot. So we were doing all the wheeling around.
Well, all the pictures that I saw in the conversation I had with Missy,
yeah.
It sounded like it was a heck of a party.
Yeah, they raised
did you
$11,000 or something.
I didn't get to go. I forgot what I was doing.
11,000 for the Isaiah house, right?
Yep, so
yeah, that's
what's
awesome.
going right for sure.
No doubt.
That's great.
No doubt. All right, you got anything else, Trent?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, if we can help you, let us know. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon. Do whatever you do for Valentine's Day. Good luck.
Love is love, right?
All right. See you.